So good evening to all. My name is Hari Ram, CA intermediate student. I am here to deliver a topic on disqualifications of auditor, section 141 of Companies Act 2013. Before we move on to the topic, we need to understand what is the meaning of disqualification. Those persons are not qualified as an auditor to appoint as an auditor to a company for what? For the purpose of audit. This is elaborated in which act? Companies Act 2013. In which section? Section 141. That is the today's topic. Come, let us go. So we are going to discuss why auditor need to audit, overview of chapter 10 of Companies Act 2013, qualifications, disqualifications, prohibited services of auditor. Certain services are not to be rendered by the auditor. These services also we are going to discuss finally. Now, battery. 1 minute. Sorry. Okay, we are going to discuss these all 5 topics today. Come, let us go to the topic. There is a company. Who are investing in a company? Shareholders invest their money in the company. Then who manages the company? Board of directors will manage the company. Okay. If shareholders require to know how the amount invested in the company to be utilized and board of directors manages, then one independent person requires to audit how it is utilized, whether there is any involvement of fraud. If shareholder itself auditing, it will not be fair. Then board of directors itself auditing their company, there will be the content of fraud. So one independent person comes front of this and makes audit and certify the company is following the respective standards and respective laws and not making any fraud. So the person named auditor. Okay. This is the exact 10 sections under the chapter 10 of Companies Act 2013. What and all contents in this chapter 10? Appointment of auditor, removal, resignation of auditor, eligibility, qualification and disqualifications of auditor. How in the same section provides what and all the remuneration to be provided to the auditor, powers, duties of auditors and auditing standards, segment of audit reports and the services not to be rendered by the auditor to the auditing company, and signing the audit report to attend the general meeting. If the auditor does not satisfy these all the section, what are the punishments under these sections? And finally the last section of the chapter 10 is cost auditor. Now we are going to discuss the 2 topics on eligibility, qualification and disqualifications and prohibited services in this session. Qualifications. There are only 3 qualifications. If an individual is appointed to the company, then he must be a chartered accountant, CA. If firm is appointed to audit a company, majority partners practice in India to be a CS. Okay, then who is eligible to act and sign the audit report? The person who are a chartered accountant eligible to sign and act on behalf of the firm. These are the exact provision how it appears in the Companies Act 2013. So under the section 141, there are 4 subsections. In that, subsection 1 and subsection 2 deals with qualifications, subsection 3 deals with disqualifications, and subsection 4 deals with if the auditor is appointed and attends any disqualifications, then he should be vacated from the office. This is explained in the section 141 subsection 4. Now we move on to disqualifications. The first important disqualifications is a body corporate cannot be appointed to audit a body corporate. Okay. There are big firms, right? Deloitte, EY, KPMG, and PwC. These are also body corporate. Then how these body corporate are eligible to audit? Yes, there is one exception, LLP. LLP can eligible to appoint as an auditor. So these are all not a company. This is a body corporate, but not a company. It is an LLPs. Okay. So the firms can eligible to appoint, but other than LLP are disqualified for the purpose of appointment. Next, officer or employee of the respective company where the auditor is going to audit that company itself. If he is a officer or an employee, then he is disqualified to audit. Next, a person whose relative is a director or a key managerial personnel. If not only the auditor, his relative also should not be a director to the respective company where the auditor is going to audit. Next, fourth point, person. If an individual means indicating here person. Relative, that auditor's relative or a partner. If a firm is appointed, the respective partners. Okay, what these three persons are here? Is holding any security or interest, is indebted or guaranteed or provided any securities. There is some limit here. They indicating a person or a relative or a partner should not hold any securities, meaning first subsection I am telling, meaning these persons should not hold a security as a shareholders to the company where they are going to audit. Who auditor? Relative will not be going to audit, but the provision says though the relative is not going to audit, but the person's relative or if a partner should not hold a security of or interest to the respective company. But there is one limit and exception. Relative can hold up to maximum of rupees 1 lakh. 1 lakh indicates the face value of the shares. Next is indebtedness. Here the limit is 5 lakhs. 5 lakhs is for every person's relative partner. All the three of them, maximum limit is 5 lakhs is allowed. In excess of 5 lakhs is disallowed. If a person having more than 5 lakh to indebted to the company means he is disqualified. Same thing, guaranteed or provide any security to the company means they are also having one limit, maximum of 1 lakh. In excess of 1 lakh, disqualified. Last two cases, auditor can hold, but first case, he cannot even hold a single rupee of a face value with the respective company. If he have any shares in the company means he is disqualified to appoint. Let us try to understand with some examples to these provisions. Mr. A, practicing chartered accountant, is holding a securities in XYZ company, face value of 900 rupees. Whether Mr. A is qualified for appointment as an auditor in XYZ? See, here the auditor is a shareholder in the same company. Whether Mr. A is also eligible to appoint as an auditor? No. Now only we saw the individual who is auditor should not hold even a rupee as a holding in the company. So Mr. A is disqualified as per the section 141 subsection 3 D1. Next example. Now auditor is not holding. If auditor's relative is holding means yes. Mr. P, a practicing chartered accountant, and Mr. Q, the relative of P, is holding a securities in ABC Limited having face value of 90,000. Whether Mr. P is qualified for being an appointment as an auditor? Now the auditor is not holding, but his relative is holding. Whether it is possible? Yes, it is possible. How much? The limit is 1 lakh of a face value. Here the face value is only 90,000. So Mr. P is eligible to appoint as an auditor. As per the section 141, he is not disqualified. Now, disqualification, other points. Who is at a business relationship with the, if the auditor having any business relationship with the respective company means he is disqualified. But there are two exceptions. If the auditor renders any professional services to the audit firm and sale of goods or services by the company to the auditor as a customer, these both services are exempted. Why? These also business relationship, but these are not the basic principal business rendering to each other. This is exempt. Except these two, any other relationship means the respective auditor is disqualified. Next, the ceiling limit. The auditor cannot audit more than 20 company at the same time. Here, the 20 company limits the 4 different types of company are not to be treated as even a single company. What are the 4 types of company? 1-person company, dormant company, small company, and a private company having a paid up share capital less than 100 crores. If any of the following types of company the auditor is auditing, then the maximum ceiling limit 20 is not considered. Except these 4 company, the auditor maximally hold 20 company at the date of such appointment or reappointment. Okay, we will try to understand this particular point with interesting example later on. Okay, now next disqualification point is a person who has been convicted by a court of an offense involving a fraud. If a person who convicted, he is disqualified to appoint as an auditor, but there is an exception to it. When 10 years is lapsed from the date of conviction, means the respective auditor is allowed to appoint as an auditor. Finally, the last point is a person who directly or indirectly renders any services. What and all services? Following services which are in the section 144 do not be rendered by the auditor. Okay, if the respective services are rendered, means he is disqualified. Okay, these services are not to be rendered. That also we are going to discuss later on. Okay, now we move on to the interesting example to understand the what and all we read. Whether a private company is eligible to audit the other company. Can anyone answer it me? Okay, fine. Next, if auditor renders his professional service to a company, then such auditor is whether eligible to appoint as an auditor for the same company. We try to understand. No, first question, no, body corporate. The private company itself cannot audit the other company. We saw first disqualification. For LLP is can audit. LLP means as per the LLP Act 2008. Here the private company is a body corporate, not an LLP, so disqualified. Second case, if auditor renders professional service, the business relationship one disqualification we read, right? In the 2 exception is that auditor is rendering his professional service. This is not a disqualification. So in this case also, in this case he is qualified. First case is disqualified. Now, ceiling limit provision we can understand with this Mr. Raja's case. Mr. Raja has appointed as an auditor for 17 companies. Now there are 10 more private company having paid up capital of 250 crores or above. Whether such auditor is eligible for appointment of for all the 10 more companies. Okay, what is the provision? At the time of his appointment, maximum 20 company he can audit. Now already he appointed as a 17 company. Let us take an assumption that 17 companies are not the exempted companies. Then maximum is 3 companies pending, right? 3 company means one from that 250 crores, right? Is this a exempted type of companies? No, exempted type means private company having 100 crores, here 250 crores. So these companies are not exempted. So from the 10 company, only he can additionally increase his number of holding company 3 only. So ceiling limit is maximum of 20 company. Mr. Raja is eligible to appoint only maximum of 20 company except 1-person company, dormant company, small company, and private companies having paid up share capital less than 100 crores. Therefore, he allowed to select only 3 more companies from the rest of the companies. Same scenario, I smallly changing the question. Mr. Raja, same provisions, but see, in that 17 companies, 7 companies are 1-person company. Now, then that 7-person company are not to, that 1-person companies are not to be treated as a one company. Then we omitted that 7 means now how many companies holding currently? 10 company. Additionally, 10 company. So totally 12. He is eligible to appoint for the further 10 more company and does not attract the section 141. Now we move on to certain services not to be rendered by the auditor, section 144. What and all the services? Accounting and bookkeeping service, internal audit, design and implementation of any financial information system, actuarial service, investment advisory service, investment banking service, rendering of outsourced financial service, management service, and any other services as prescribed by the law. Which law? Companies Act 2013. These are the exact provisions of section 141, subsection 3. As I clearly mentioned earlier, subsection 3 talks about the disqualification. These are the provisions says. Now, section 141 subsection 4. Here, this section simply says if an auditor after his appointment attracts the provision of section 141 subsection 3 means he is deemed to have been vacated from the office. Which section is says? Section 141 subsection 4, vacation of office by an auditor. That's all, my dear friends. My topic is over. Hope you all enjoyed my topic and learned something. Thank you for giving the opportunity and sharing the screen. Thank you.
Hariram, I think your presentation was fabulous.
Thank you, sir.
I just need to tell that, you not only covered the topics, but you also gave illustrations to substantiate each provision under 141. And you also covered 144 and this thing. That's very good, very good.
Thank you.
Can we move on to the next topic?